Okay, so this gives you a basic sense of how to set up your document. There are a million different ways you could do this. I'm not going to show you how to do the end pages here. I'll let you play around with that and see how it goes. You know, if we go back to the cover, one thing I do want to talk about is hierarchy. Actually, let's say, let's go here and talk about hierarchy. Let's go here since we're doing this. So since we're going to have 5 different designers, and if you hit the W key, you can see it without the guide marks. All right, we can take this, if we drag this down, you can see it fits, but if you keep going down, there's a red plus sign, which means there's text, there's more text there. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll click this red box if I find a layout that I like, and I'll just make a dummy box here. And then I'll say, okay, I have about a paragraph and a half. I need to fit it somehow into this layout, and then you have to jigger things around and whatnot. So since we're going to have 5 designers, I might actually move her down, for example. You know, we're going to use these guides as a general rule and see how it goes. And let's just Command A and just set it to the, all right, Control click. Apply body, clear character styles, okay. And then we're going to go back here and you can see I got rid of my, like that, and we can go and hit drop cap. So my drop cap character style didn't work for some reason because I didn't define it properly. However, what we can do is if we do Command Z, Z. I'm not going to get into styling the drop cap right now with the character style because I think for this project, I don't think we need it, but let's copy and let's go back to this and say Command V. All right, so this is the point is that whatever you pick, you want it to be consistent. So regardless if it's Times New Roman or if it's Gotham or if it's Helvetica, you just want it to be consistent across, and that is the purpose for paragraph and character styles. So here we are with this. We're going to go look at it. 2 lines, maybe 3 lines. And our Gale orange. Okay, and now you can see it is in Times New Roman, which, since I keep changing my mind here, I'm gonna set it to Gotham. Okay, say Gotham. Oh, look at that. Well, that's kind of fun. Or we could do italic. Also kind of fun. Then if you had this situation, you would just need to move this text over a little bit just by hitting this kerning button. All right, if you hit the shift key, it'll go up in increments, larger increments. You could just drag out that whole thing and it'll do it for all 3 lines. All right, or we could do bold, right? And then you can see this kerning, the space between the letters is a little weird. We want to try to avoid widows, which are 1 word on the final line. Like you always want it to be at least two words. So let's say this was, oh, and actually I wanted to point something else out. There's actually a lot to talk about, hyphenation. So show options. So hyphenation you can see is checked. I like to uncheck hyphenation. And if you go to paragraph styles, you can see that changed something. I'm just going to click here I want to apply. Actually want, if I double click this and go to hyphenation, you can actually uncheck hyphenation here. Say, okay, great. When you highlight this paragraph, body is going to have the plus sign because you've added this here, and I don't have a character style applied to this, so that's fine. All right, so then we have that. We have Gale, and now what I wanted to show you is quickly how we can change this layout to be a little more. All right, we could have maybe a header here. We could say Gale Anderson. A body. None of these are going to work. I'm just going to do Command Shift right caret, and I'm going to say Gale Anderson. Okay, so I have a big type thing going on here. T Gale Anderson. We could also go smaller, and we could say all caps. It's kind of nice. And then maybe we'll make it Gale Orange. Whoops. Ooh, actually, you know what we could do is, what if we send it to the back and then make the text white? It's gonna be pretty ugly, but yeah, I don't use orange too much. So anyway, there's a lot to play with. Right, you could do a lot of things. You can make the whole page orange, but please don't, unless there's a reason to do it. So we want to communicate first and decorate second. All right, the purpose is to communicate with your audience. T Gale Orange, right? And then we have Gale Anderson. We could even take this and we could say regular and then delete the space, and it could be Gale Anderson, or Gale could be bold and Anderson could be light, or regular rather. This is regular, not light. And then we want to, the ideal situation with that is that we would be consistent with our styling. So Anderson, you can actually see how there's a theme that's starting to develop. So through this choice of having Gotham for everything, playing with the styles, seeing what's available, I mean, you could, a lot of possibilities, right? You could take, something I recently did is you can take this and say type, create outlines. And then what I've done here is, now this is going to be more complicated for you because you definitely don't want to, all right, so we have our type. So this, you're going to create two styles, two character styles for this. And I would probably call this like, I maybe H1 bold and H1 regular, something like that, or H1 and H1 bold. And that would be in the character styles. Or you could, if you could use a paragraph style, make a new paragraph style, but I think I would just go with the character style. Same with chapter openers. I mean, there's so many things you could do. You could turn this sideways if you wanted. You know, you could do this kind of thing, put this here, and you could play with your margins. Whatever you're going to do, a system is going to be needed so that it's consistent across the whole document. Right, and you could break the grid if you needed to. You know, you could have Gale across the whole page if you wanted, right? If our theme is big type, not that that's a theme, but that seems to be what I'm doing here. Right, you could have Gale Anderson. You could do all sorts of stuff. You could have all the type diagonal, although it's really cumbersome to do that to get a consistent, right? You could have Gale Anderson here. That was Command Shift right caret. So once you get the tools down, then you'll have this availability of flexibility and freedom. So just play around, do as much as you can. If you have a bunch of ideas, send them to me, talk to me, I'm here. If you send me a screenshot with two options, you know, do you think this or this will work? I'll respond to you and say, yeah, why don't you try that? That's looking good. Why don't you try this in a different color? So just to go back to that idea I had, let's put her up here. Let's put her up here because we have a lot of copy, a lot of dummy copy. And Gail Anderson is really cool. She's done a lot of cool stuff. So all of the designers have, right, we didn't fill that in. So now what we can do is type create outlines. Okay, and that will be after you made your character style. Use this direct selection tool, Command plus. And what we could do is we could take these points and just, you can see how you can move them, hit the shift key, and you could just drag this right to the bleed, right? And you can even use the arrows keys. And then we have this system, this new system that's developing of dragging out the lines, and you can actually use this to highlight. That was weird. Weird things have been going on. My computer's at like a weird percent. But what you can do is you could take this and you could even, right, take, like, for example, this A and pull this out. Okay. Right, you could do this kind of thing. And then you could have the copy go, okay, this is something else that we haven't done. So, all right, so no text wrap around bounding box, wrap around object shape. Okay, so I'm actually just gonna go ahead and you can wrap that around. So if you have objects intersecting, so let's say, for example, I wanted Gail to be in a circle in the middle. All right, so I just click this circle, I hit Alt Shift, dragged out the circle from the middle to be the size I want. And then we're gonna make this a color so that I can see it. Double click. All right, so we have our picture box, double click, Command X, I cut that. I'm gonna delete this, click this, Command Option V, right? And then we have Gail in a little box. Oh my God, it's so cute. All right, we'll put the caption at the bottom of the page or something, I don't know yet. And then maybe we can have all the text here. All right, so you can see it could be endless, the number of options. And then I'm just gonna put her like maybe like here. What do we think? And then what you can do is you can click this button and there you go. It's just a little slow. So you can see the type wraps around the object. It needs to be played with a little bit. You can see that it's, all right, so if we go to text wrap here, you can increase this to, you can see that now there's a broader white space around this circle. So this is actually turning out to be pretty fun. And I'm actually just gonna go ahead and, you know what I'm gonna do? So with diagonals, it's a little confusing. Let me stop the video for a second.